Hello, guys. This is part two of another SNES video game collection video. I'm gonna try to make this let's go a little faster than 40 minutes. We'll see. Probably not, because I like to talk. Uh, okay, so let's get started. Our first game is Super Soccer. A fairly decent soccer game, actually. But it's I'm not the biggest soccer guy, but I remember playing it as a kid, and I bought it and I like it. So, thanks to Ray, I got Pinball Dreams. Thank you, Ray. I don't know what you did back here to cause this, but I don't know. It's a pinball game. Actually, I think this is a game that's probably more famous on the PC than on the Super Nintendo. But it's pinball. It's not bad, not good. It's okay. This game is Populous. A very, very bad version of Populous. I mean, I never really played much Populous. I know, again, this is a game that was really big on the PC that they put on the Super Nintendo. But it's one of those games I bought when I was going to the store thinking, I'm going to buy a game. And that's the only game they have. Tough. I'm going to buy it anyway because I'm stupid and I wanted to grow the collection. It's definition of a filler game, pretty much. It's definition of, well, life's pretty weird. It's a very definition of a filler game. Here's a series that's close to my heart. Star Trek Starfleet Academy Bridge Simulator. Starship Bridge Simulator, yeah. It just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? It's basically what you would really expect a Star Trek game to be, because, you know, it emulates being on a starship. And I'm a big Star Trek fan, so I love it big time. Excuse me, I just sang today, so I'm kind of tired. Star Trek Deep Space Nine Crossroads of Time. See right there. It's a platformer, just a kind of a mediocre platformer. God, that light. I can't zoom in. Ooh, I like that effect. Not in the face, though. One of the weirdest games I own. Michael Jordan's Chaos in the Windy City. It's a platformer where Michael Jordan throws basketballs at zombies wearing basketballs for heads. It's as bizarre sounding as it sounds. Here's a good one. Capcom Saturday Night Slam Masters. Probably the best wrestling game I own. It's really more of a fighting game with wrestling aspects of it. Like it has Mike Hagar and stuff like that. And it's pretty good. I like it a lot, actually. Made by Capcom, of course. One that's not exceptional, though. And I think you may know what this is. That's right. Shaq Fu. And of course, when I saw this, immediately I had to buy it. I know you're thinking, what the fuck would you want to buy Shaq fucking Fu? Well, because it's Shaq Fu. It's like ordering Plan 9 from outer space. That's kind of that level of badness that game has. Okay, what else? Another sports legend. I don't know. It's Frank Thomas's Big Hurt Baseball. Another celebrity endorsement. I have a Cub endorsement, and I have a White Sox endorsement, and they're though Super Bases Low is a much better game than that one. That game is a big piece of shit. And again, it's another just a regular sports game that they just cashed in on Frank Thomas's image because he was pretty hot at that time. This is a nostalgic game. WWF Royal Rumble. Very, very good game. It's a sequel to Super WrestleMania, and this game took everything Super WrestleMania had, got rid of all the bad crap, and made this game faster, more modes, more wrestlers, more better. And it's a really good game. I like it a lot. It was actually one of the first games my dad bought me as a kid. When he realized I was getting interested not only in wrestling but Super Nintendo. So this game holds a special place in my heart, even though it's kind of aged not all that well because it's a tug of war system when it comes to the controls. I still love it though. I love the game a lot. I'm happy to have it. And this is WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game. This is a port of the arcade game of the same name, obviously. It only has 6 wrestlers, so that's kind of lame. And one of them's Doink the Clown. So, but Babyface Doink the Clown. That's even worse. But it's sort of based on. It's kind of like if you put a wrestling game and a Mortal Kombat fighting game together, and it's pretty. I liked it as a kid. It hasn't aged well. It has not aged well at all. And when I played it again, I didn't like it all that much, and I wasn't good at it anymore. All right, next is Spider-Man X-Men Arcade Revenge. It's an LGN side-scroller. It's kind of bleh. It's more, actually, I'll take that back. It's more mediocre than bad. Kind of just bland. Just a bland game for all you Spidey fans or X-Men fans. Meh. Now we have a puzzle game called Zoop. Not much to say about it other than it's really just a puzzle game where you shoot things, and I haven't played it all that much. I want to play it because I actually heard it's pretty good. I just need to play it. What else do we have here? I got a lot of stuff. Though it is clearing up. This game. Space Football. This is one of those weird games where you think you're buying something completely different. I mean, I played this game with a friend of mine, actually. And he's like, well, this is definitely not a football game. It's more like Ball Blazer. If you ever play Ball Blazer, it's kind of like that, but not quite as good. It's kind of one of the odder games I have, honestly. What else do we have? Oh, we have Family Feud. This game is actually surprisingly damn good. It actually is. It's a game that I went to a party with all my Super Nintendo games, all my 2-player games, and I'm like, oh, let's play Mortal Kombat, let's play Super Mario World. No, we're going to play Family freaking Feud. And we played this game for hours. We had that much fun. Even though the answer is, you had to be in a 1992 mindset to play this game. But it's still a good game. I like it a lot. It's actually probably the best game show-based video game on the system. We have another movie-based game, Stargate. Just a mediocre platformer, not too exciting. I'm not even a big fan of the Stargate movie. Sorry, but here's another game that kind of has a little bit of a history with me. Hey Punk, are you tough enough, or just tough enough? I don't know. It's a kind of a Street Fighter clone fighting game. And I remember I saw this game I think it was the same electronics store I bought Lesser the Unlikely back in Northville, Illinois, where I used to spend my summers. And they would have some, at the time, they were used old video games. And they had this game, and if you look at it, it's a very weird, kind of an interesting cover. It's really awful. It's an awful cover, but it caught my eye when I was, how was I? Probably like 10 years old, 11 years old, maybe even 12. And I'm like, I should buy it. And I never did because I don't know why. And probably because I went in the store, I never had the money for it. And then I finally bought it at a half-price bookstore. I was excited. I bought it, and it's a piece of junk. So all that waiting to see if the game was any good or not, and it was a flat out piece of junk. Okay, what else? Oh, thanks to C.W. McCrae, the Super Nintendo version of Doom. Obviously not as good as the PC version of Doom, but it is Doom, pretty much. I mean, they didn't change all that much. It's still pretty violent. It's not like what they did with Wolfenstein 3D, which I don't own. I want to own it, but I don't own it. It's not what they did with Wolfenstein. But they had a... It's one of the few video game, Super Nintendo games that has the red cartridge. And I'm happy to have it. I really am. It's not that great of a game, but it's not bad either. What else we have here? Tasmania. I barely played this game, so I can't really comment on it too much. And contrary to the jacked up label, it's Speedy Gonzales Los Gatos Banditos. I read a review of it that said it was kind of like, oh, it's like the Super Nintendo version of Sonic, and maybe that's kind of a stretch. Other than they go fast, that's all it is. Pretty good puzzle game here, Goof Troop by Capcom. Very interesting not puzzle game. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Star Tropics. Because Star Tropics is like a puzzle RPG hybrid, and Star Tropics is a great game. This is not quite as good as Star Tropics, but it's really good. Mickey Mania. Great graphics, great animation, sort of based on the history of Mickey Mouse. I haven't played it all that much, but from little I've played of it, it's pretty good. The Lion King, hard as shit. Oh my god. This game made me want to throw a controller when I was a kid. I think I want to throw a controller now. It's really that hard. But I think the best Disney-based game on the Super Nintendo is The Magical Quest, starring Mickey Mouse by Capcom. Excellent game. Very intuitive. A lot of different modes, a lot of different ways to play the game. Great graphics, of course, for it's 16-bit, of course. But it's really good. I like it a lot. Tetris 2. Not as good as the real Tetris, obviously, but I'm happy to have it. I'm happy. No matter how bad the game is, I'm always happy to have them because they add to the collection. It's like you have to have the fillers to supplement the collection. You can't. It makes a collection. They can't all be classics, even though I guess you can if you have the money. But you only have like 100 games, so why not just have more? Oh, this is probably one of my top 20 favorites. SimCity. Played this game for hours. I still play it for hours. I probably over maybe summer break or Christmas break or whatever. I played it constantly, just constantly. It's a very addicting game. And kind of going in that same vein, kind of sort of, it's a hybrid. It's Enix's ActRaiser. One of the best games on the system, obviously. You know, has a lot of, it's like a simulation game with platforming with some shooting, because you have to shoot monsters with your cherub. You basically play God, and that's pretty cool, I think. And to go with Enix, the second part of the Gaia trilogy, I think they call it now, it's The Illusion of Gaia. I need Soul Blazer at some point. I don't have Soul Blazer right now. It's very unlikely I'm going to be getting Terranigma unless I go into the reproduction cartridge side of things, which I want to do at some point, or just buy a Super Famicom or clip my Super Nintendo, which I don't really want to do mutilation to. It's kind of old, but we'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. It's not that big of a deal right now. What else? Good shooter. Choplifter 3. Very good game. I thought it was a nice gem to find. It's a very good game. I like it a lot. All right, now we're getting to the point where almost every game I have left are the classics. I already showed you a few classics like TMNT, ActRaiser, Illusion of Gaia, some other stuff that are like classics for me. But now we're getting to the games that are the heavy hitters. Oh shit, I forgot. Lawnmower Man. Just Lawnmower Man. It's bad. I love the cover of it. I bought the game on the premise that the cover looked nice, or looked not nice. It looks interesting. It actually looked kind of freaky. Look at that. It looks. If you've never seen it before, it looks really weird. But just stay away from that. Stay away from most movie-based games. Though I've had a really good collection of that. What else? An underrated gem that costs a lot of money now, probably. Cool Spot, based on the late 80s, early 90s mascots for 7-Up with the sunglasses. See that again. Yeah, I'm sure if you're my age, you definitely remember them. What else? The Page Master. I know I said we're going to the classics, but this isn't a classic either. The Page Master, a movie I used to watch constantly as a kid. I don't know why. Probably because I had Patrick Stewart as the voice of the pirate book or whatever. Everything was like the adventure. He was the adventure book. Pretty. That's all I can say about it. This is a puzzle game, Krusty's Super Fun House. Really not much to say about that one. I've not played it much, and I don't know if I really want to anymore. All right, now we're getting into some pretty decent heavy hitters now. Disney's Aladdin from Capcom. Very, very fun platformer. Probably there's always a debate of this game's better or the Sega Genesis game. I don't own the Sega Genesis game. I'm getting a decent collection of Sega Genesis games thanks to a friend of mine who gave me his Genesis for free. And I think I'm looking forward to trying it. I heard it's excellent. So it'd be a nice way to compare and contrast both games. All right, now we're getting into the nitty gritty here. Zool. Not much to say about this one. It's actually a pretty decent platformer, but not much to say about it. Joe and Mac. Thanks to this this weird sticker I think a video store put on it. I bought it at the pawn shop called Big Daddy's. And it's a game I always wanted because everyone always puts it up there when it comes to like co-op platformers. And it's really good. It's a good game. It's just it's not my favorite, but I like it. Alrighty. R-Type. Super R-Type to be exact. One of the better shooters. One of the better shooters. Pretty good. I like it a lot. UN Squadron. This game is the shit. And I'm not even a big shooter fan. And I'm not particularly all that good at it. But this game is definitely the shit. It's really good. I'm happy to have it. I remember I saw a guy eye it when I bought it. And he was about ready to eye it. I'm like thinking to myself, you're not going to get that son of a bitch. You're not going to get that son of a bitch. And he didn't get that son of a bitch. And I got that son of a bitch. That's a collector's world, really. You know, it's very competitive sometimes. X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. Really good game. Really hard. I mean, I might get shit out of this, but I've never could beat I never could beat a level in that game. So I haven't tried, and I don't have time to play. I don't have time to play a lot of games really, but I don't have time to play a game like that when I'd like it, but I'm not gonna think, oh, this is so great. I can play this for hours upon hours upon hours. I'm not like a kid anymore when you had only maybe 5 or 6 games and you played those 5 or 6 games for hours because that's all you had. That's pretty much how these things work. You don't have time to play all the games. You just kind of just compile, and that's kind of the downside of collecting. Sometimes you just compile instead of playing the games all the way. But I do try to play all the games, and I love them. I love even the bad ones. I do love them in a way because it's a hobby, and I love my hobby. We have Plock, a very, very good game. I like it a lot. It was also on the SNES Drunk video of buying games for a budget, and I think that was like just under $10, and it was one of the best $10 I ever spent. It was really good. Now we're going to show you Super Star Wars. Super Star Wars, great game, hard as balls. Hard as balls. I know it's hyperbole, but believe me, it's hard. And the problem is it's not even as hard as this game. And if you can tell by its really jacked up label, it's supposed to be Super Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. That's even harder. It's a bitch to even be a couple levels. Then again, I'm not good at. I love video games. I'm not good at them. There's a difference. All right, now we're getting into some really heavy-duty territory pretty soon. One of the true launch titles, Pilot Wings. Pilot Wings is very fun. Not good at it, but it's very fun. Actually, the one mentioned SimCity is also a launch title for the Super Nintendo, as well as this one. I think there was like 5 of them. 5 games released when it came out in North America. SimCity, Pilot Wings, Super Mario World, Gradius 3, and F-Zero. I think so, yeah. Oh, Konami. Why did you have to turn so awful? It's Super Castlevania 4. My favorite. This is a top 10 favorite. Actually, might even be top 5. At the very least, when it comes to action games, it's really good. It is the shit. Turtles in Time was the shit. This is the shit as well. There's a lot of games. Actually, the games I have left, they're all pretty much the shit. Now we're getting to the real A-list now of what I own. I don't know if this one is, but it's still pretty good. Indiana Jones: The Greatest Adventures. Like every JVC game. There you go. After every JVC game is just hard. They like making the games extremely difficult. Which is what they did back then. You know, because back then kids had time to just play games over and over again until they got it right. I walked 6 miles to get this game. Earthworm Jim. Again, great game. Wonderful game. It's very hilarious, actually. And also the cartoon's really funny. Another game that's like really balls to the wall hard. Just a lot of that. Just a lot of balls to the wall hard video games. Speaking of hard video games, and also speaking of launch titles, it's Gradius 3. Another Konami game. I mean, Konami was really good back then. It was good for a long time until last several years, but Konami made this. It was based on the Gradius series. Very good game. It's probably right up there with UN Squadron as games I really like. I think are essential games in the collection that you really need, especially if you like shooters. It has some slowdown, but it's a very good game. Okay, now we go on to the undisputed classics, like Super Punch-Out. Well, I think it is disputed with this one because there are a lot of like original Punch-Out fans who don't like Super Punch-Out. I adore it. In fact, what I'm going to do after this video, as you can hear, I put it on my Super Nintendo. I'm probably going to play it after this is over. The second best racing game on the Super Nintendo, F-Zero. The reason it's not the best one is because it doesn't have two-player like like this game does. Super Mario Kart. Because even though this game is excellent, I mean, this game is an A-list title, no matter what you say. But so is F-Zero. And F-Zero has probably the better graphics, in my opinion. That game just still blows me away. And the only problem is it doesn't have two-player. It's only a one-player game. It's really a tech demo. I heard someone say it was like a tech demo. And this game started a really, really profitable franchise for Nintendo. This game is hugely important in the history of video games. And again, another game I'm so happy to have. Here's another game that's also important in video games. Star Fox. It's one of those things where opposite the graphics have not aged well, because it was a very revolutionary video game for its time because of the graphics. But it's very pixelated and polygony now compared to 3D games today. But the gameplay is still fun as hell. So that game is definitely worth it. It's a great game. I'm not good at it. I think that's a common theme. I'm not good at a video game. Probably my favorite puzzle game on the system. Tetris and Dr. Mario. Excellent, very, very fun game. I love Tetris. I love Dr. Mario. Put them together, and then I'm in heaven. In fact, I might play the game later. I'm gonna leave that out there because that game is fun as hell. Another great puzzle game is Tetris Attack. It doesn't have anything to do with Tetris. I forget what type of puzzle game it is. I'm sure someone will tell me. But the game itself is addicting. Like most puzzle games, especially with Tetris in the title, even though it has nothing to do with Tetris, it's still very addictive. I'm just letting you know it's very addictive. Okay, now we're going on to a really big series. Arguably the game that won the Super Nintendo console war. Donkey Kong Country. There we go. There we go. I love this game so much. It was something that was revolutionary for its time. The game still looks good, I think. It's another game where people will say it like, oh, it's like in the list of the most overrated games ever. I don't care what they say. It's not overrated. This goddamn game is a classic. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, yes, it has been surpassed by Donkey Kong Country 2. This game is much better. You know, it's much more difficult. And the third one, Donkey Kong Country 3, great game, but it's like the Return of the Jedi of video game trilogies. The first one, like the first Star Wars, the first New Hope, that was like a very revolutionary movie for its time. The second one was more gritty and tougher to be more. It had a much better story to it, and it was just overall awesome. And the third one was a great movie, but there might have been something off about it. Maybe it was too cutesy in some ways. But same thing with DK3. It's kind of like the third. It's the Return of the Jedi of video games. And now, so we're getting close, guys. I swear to God, we're getting close. Super Mario All-Stars. You gotta have Super Mario All-Stars. Actually, what would be better for you is if you get Super Mario All-Stars with Super Mario World. That is, I think it's essential to have this game. I mean, I think it's expensive now. I only bought it for like $20 like 3 or 4 years ago. But it's an essential